moving along, once we start moving along in Leviticus, I'm looking at chapter 10, and this is when Aaron has two sons, and they both are priests, though they both are ordained, and they both know exactly what they're doing or what they're supposed to do. And then one day, they take their censers, they fill them with fire, and the Bible says that it was a unauthorized fire. It was fire that God hadn't commanded, and fire comes out from God and consumes them right there. And Moses, looks at Aaron and says, this is what God meant when He said, "Among those who approach me, I will be treated as holy." And Aaron didn't know what to say, right? Like he's silent. And then in chapter 11 and 12, they bring the food laws. And every single day, at every single meal, the Israelites were reminded not everything is the same. Some things are set apart. You are set apart. So, you need to act like it. And I feel like, familiarity with sacred things is not the same as reverence for them. You can be around God your whole life and still treat Him like He's ordinary. So, my next question is, where had your approach to God gotten a little too casual? And not just like in an accessible way, but in a careless way.
Worship, worship, bro. Um, Being homeless and having to move, also still having a religious mindset of being in a covenant with a building, right? Because I gave a word and a commitment to a building and a group of people, and I told them this is where I belong. So now, because of my religious mindset, I let my worship die down. And I take it for granted. I take it for event. And when I mean by worship, I mean my praise and worship. You know what I mean? Like, so when I was in Vegas, because I'm not in Vegas right now, but when I was in Vegas, I was dancing, I was singing, screaming, on my knees, crying, and free every Sunday. I don't get that opportunity. Can I? Yes. But like I said, I take it for granted. You asked me a legitimate question. Can I do that? Yes. But also then there's the portion of my flesh, right? I think in my flesh. Okay, well, what does that mean for the building I held that down to? Because in order for me to do that, I have to go to an environment, to produce that. Doing it on my own, I ain't got the space to do that. I'm gonna be completely honest, unless I'm about to go, worship in the car. That's not what I'm talking about. For anybody that's like, oh, well, you can worship at home. That's not what I'm talking about. First of all, don't get it confused. I'm not talking about, oh, just worship him, by myself. I'm talking about in a community. I'm talking about in an atmosphere that is catered where there is that time where we go to Sunday church to worship. What I'm saying is that I have been missing out on community fellowship, community worship, and doing the dues that it normally do. So that's what I'm specifically referring to when I say that and everything. And like as I'm explaining as to why I'm doing that, I'm being honest. It's again, going back to pride and time. All those things is going back to beginning. All those things are consuming me and stopping me from going in that direction and everything. And as Jose and I was talking, actually, this is something that we were talking about. I'm like, bro, I think I should just get up and go, and I said I don't want to say too much because I'm trying to keep it, low from what's going on and what's about to be prepared to happen. But Jose and I are talking. I'm like, hey man, I don't think I could take this anymore. Jose's like, hey, boy, think about it. You know what I mean? Like, what would be the best option here, to do and everything. And I'm just like, but man, like it's eating at me and everything. So work in progress, bro. But yeah, my worship is that was like my worship with God is kind of like something like on a level of David. It's like God is like, I love to see my son worship. And I'm still in that from him right now. That's a relationship that he and I have, and I'm kind of still in that from him. So it's like, ooh, I don't want to talk about it no more, man. I'm done. You good?
No, that was good. That was good. I think for me, where I get careless at, it just feeling like every mistake can be forgiven. And I mean, it can, right? But just feeling like I can keep making those mistakes because they can be forgiven. And I definitely, and it's not anything super big, but it's definitely like I'll do something and be like, oh, I'm gonna be forgiven. Like, and you just feel like, at what you go to church and you'll pray the prayer where it's like, after today, this is a new chapter. And then 7 days later, you're doing the same prayer again. And it's like, okay, yeah, this is it. So for me, for sure, just feeling like you just can keep making mistakes and there, you're going to be forgiven. And, and I feel like knowing that, just keep making those same mistakes. For me, that's something that popped out in my head.
No, I feel that. I feel that for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So moving along. So